Hello to all and welcome back to War Thunder. Now, do not adjust your monitor because you are indeed looking at an aircraft on this channel. That's right, I finally thought, hey, maybe I should put some aircraft on this channel that's all to do with a game, where 50% of the game is aircraft. So, yeah, that's brilliant of me, I know. But anyway, welcome to the B7A2. Now, this is one of the greatest aircraft in War Thunder, or at least in my opinion. I mean, I haven't made it that far yet in the game, so I can't really say if it is definitively the best, but from what I've played so far, it is absolutely amazing, and I can't put into words what this plane makes me feel. And that sounds really weird, so I'm just going to quickly get into this before it gets a bit strange. Now, the Aichi B7A Ryushi, or at least I believe that's how it's pronounced, is roughly translated into Shooting Star. However, the Allies' reporting name for it was Grace. Now, the B4A was originally designed to replace the Nakajima B6N, a torpedo plane, and the Yokosuka D4Y, which is a dive bomber, and bafflingly, both of these aircraft had far more use in the Second World War than the B7A, but for some reason, Ganjin hasn't added either of them, but did add this one, which is really odd, but I guess I'll get back onto that in a moment. Now, the B7A's wings were actually retractable, and were capable from going from a 14.4 meters to only 7.9. However, despite this, they were still unusable on older Japanese aircraft carriers. The reason being because that even with the only 7.9 meters of length, they were still too large to be lifted on the deck elevators. However, this was intended as they were actually designed to be used upon the new generation of Tai-Ho class carriers. These class carriers having the maximum limit of 11 meters on their deck elevators. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, that was a whole lot of really boring information, why are you even bringing this up? But my reason is this. Throughout the entire Second World War, only 2 Tai-Ho class aircraft carriers were built. One of them was sunk during the Battle of the Philippine Sea before the B-7As were even capable of embarking off it, and the other one was sunk by an American submarine only 10 days after it was commissioned, meaning that throughout the entire Second World War, the B-7As had almost no use whatsoever on aircraft carriers. But going back to my earlier point, the question is, why were these even added by Ganjin, but the Nakajima B6N and the Yokosuka D4Y were not? I mean, literally, altogether, out of the entire B7A series, only 114 were ever designed. Now, this may sound like a lot, but considering the Nakajima's B6Ns had 1,200 and the Yokosuka D4Y had 2,000, it asks the question of why would you add the aircraft that had vastly less and therefore had a lot less impact on the Second World War? But I guess that's just one of those questions that we'll never find the answer to, like why Ganjin enjoys ruining their game so much. Anyway, but enough about all that, let's see how well it performs in-game. And the answer being pretty bloody well, if you ask me. I mean, in the Second World War, the B7A2 was always complimented for it having, despite its weight and size, fighter-like precision and flight performance. And, you know, I have to agree with that entirely. I mean, for the first time in, I think, forever, Ganjin might have actually accurately made an aircraft on this game. Well, I say accurately, but have you seen the stat card for it? According to this stat card, it says that my aced B7A2 has a turn time of 28 seconds. Really? Let's put that to the test, shall we? Okay, so here we have the Ki-45 Otsu Toru, and as you can see, the stat card says it has a turn time of 25.4 seconds, right? So let's just see how much that is true. Alright, so to be perfectly honest with you, I wasn't keeping time, and to be honest, it doesn't matter. All you need to know was that was, according to the game, 25.4 seconds. And this is the B7A2 at the same height, at the same altitude, with the same bomb load of nothing, and let's see how well this turns. Now, this time, I've actually put both of the clips next to each other and reviewed it myself, and I can confirm the B7A2, that is meant to be around 3 seconds slower than the Ki-45, is actually 3 seconds faster than the Ki-45, meaning that Ganjin is off by 6 seconds. And keep in mind that in both of these experiments, I was at the same speed, at the same altitude, and I was turning as hard as my plane would allow it. And yes, I know that those weren't the most exact results, because some planes work better in other altitudes, and technically one's ace and the other isn't, so it might change its flight characteristics, and all these other stuff, and yes, I know it was only a rough guide. But I'm just saying that these stat cards are almost always wrong, so don't believe them. And especially don't believe it with the B7A2, or the Sunderland Mark III, as in case you missed this. So according to War Thunder, the Sunderland Mark IIIA is a flying boat, a heavy bomber, and a main menu /type _frontline _ bomber. Now, I can't say I've ever heard of that aircraft before, but I guess that just shows how incompetent I am really, doesn't it? Oh, and before you go and try and find it, it's already been patched, I'm afraid. But I digress back onto the subject of the B7A2, because this aircraft is good at literally everything. I mean, you want a good torpedo bomber, this is the aircraft for you. And considering the torpedo you get on this aircraft has the 300 meters drop range, which is fairly standard, but it also has a maximum speed drop of 350 miles an hour, which basically means you would have to be going at an unbelievably fast speed for the torpedo to drown. But let's say you don't like torpedoes and you prefer bombing boats or ground targets in general, then this is also the ideal aircraft for you, as you get 3 choices. You can choose between either 10 60kg bombs for destroying quite a few lightly armoured units, 4 60kg bombs that drop in 2s, and 2 250kg bombs that drop in 1s if you want to destroy a few more medium armoured units, or 1 800kg bomb if there's an enemy that's particularly pissed you off. Alternatively, if your neighbours are getting a bit rowdy, then that's also the one I would recommend. But I don't care much about torpedoing, and I don't care much about bombing, I hear you cry. So how good is this as a fighter? To which I say, amazingly good. I mean, for some reason, you can't start with this aircraft without any bombs or torpedoes, which is really strange, but oh well. But as you can see here, there's an I-185, and I am sticking on his inside. He is not getting away from me, and yes, I did lose control there, but that's only because all pilots in this game have the same G resistance as newborn babies. But either way, I cut right in, stay back on his tail, and he tries to do some quite interesting manoeuvres here, but luckily he realises that he actually wants to be a tree hugger, and decides to go hug a tree. Isn't that lovely? But yes, you may have also noticed that my shells were incredibly slow when trying to shoot him. That's because the 20mm on this are really, really slow. And if you're used to playing with other nations, that'll probably catch you out quite a bit. But either way, now there's the Yak 9 on my tail, and I try running away, but then I realise that all Japanese fighters and aircraft in this game in general are basically big gliders. So I decided to do the only logical thing with an aircraft made of bamboo and wood, and, well, turn around and go for a head-on. Which, of course, being a Yak pilot, he goes to try and beat me at. But what he doesn't realise is that I'm an amazing shot and headshot his pilot. Yeah, I mean, if that doesn't prove the amazing turning speed of this aircraft and the power of these shells, because by God they are amazingly good, I don't know what will. Like, really, it is an absolutely astonishing aircraft. And, well, yeah, that's all you really need to know about this aircraft. I mean, it's amazing at everything. It just is. So, if you haven't got this already, I don't know why. Oh, and by the way, if you want to know what happened to the rest of this match, basically, I go shoot up some ground targets, and then the last guy is eventually found and shot down, which ends the game. So, do I recommend the B7A2? Well, in case you've literally just skipped right to the end or something, you've probably already guessed that, yes, I absolutely love this aircraft. I mean, I have played with, well, maybe over 100 aircraft in this game now, and this is by far my absolute favourite. I love it so much. But quickly before I go, I just want to tell you one little trick that I found out about this that might interest you if you're currently leveling up your Tier 2 to Tier 3 aircraft in War Thunder. Right, so quickly before I go, here we are back at the research area for the Japanese aircraft, and you'll notice that the B7A2 is actually like, well, there's a massive gap to it. You can get this very early on. So here's what I recommend doing, right, and hear me out. Go to Tier 2 and unlock, say, I don't know, is it 5 aircraft before you can start unlocking stuff in Tier 3? Yeah, just unlock like 5 of the easiest aircraft to unlock, the lowest, whatever, and then unlock the B7A2 as soon as possible. Now, although this is an amazing aircraft and you should just get it first because it's amazing, there is an actual reason, and it's this. As you can see, it has a 320% reward bonus and a plus 42% research point bonus. Now, as you can see, look at all the other aircraft in Tier 2. 180 and 30, 220 and 18, 220 and 30, 280 and 30. Can you see the thing I'm getting at here? The sooner you unlock the B7A2 and the more you use it, the faster you'll level up your Tier 2 and Tier 3 aircraft, because the bonuses you get for it are so much higher than anything you'll get in any other Tier 2 aircraft. So yeah, get the B7A2 as fast as possible and grind with it until you've got basically everything in Tier 2 at least. Trust me, you will go up really, really quickly up the Japanese research line. So if you like what you saw, then make sure to like, comment and subscribe. It's always appreciated. And until next time, I say thank you very much, and I'll see you then.